Full day, a great day here in Seal Beach. With us today also are two longtime residents of Seal Beach. We have Mr. Jay Covington and Mr. Hugh Cherry, who will be talking to us during the next hour about events in the past days and also the more recent events as to the restoration of the pier. So welcome, both of you. We appreciate you being
Thank you very
here.
much, Kathy.
Thank
Hi,
you,
Hugh.
Kathy.
How are
Jay,
you?
good to see you.
Same here. Well, we've got 45 years between us.
You know, it's so hard for me to realize that it's been 25 years because Seal Beach has been a number of different things in those 25 years.
That's right.
At one time, it was sort of a hippie refuge.
Oh, yes, yeah. And even before that, it was worse than hippies. But right now, we have a city that looks like the entire population is on this pier. Not only is the entire population on this pier, but I think if half of the inland is on this pier today, too. We've got 1,860 feet length of pier. And what do you think this pier can hold in terms of total people?
I don't know. It would be an interesting guess. Say 5,000, 6,000?
Yeah, I would say at least that many.
We've got that many here.
In fact, you know, I think that this is really kind of a neat way to test the pier, because if this pier can hold all these people today, it ought to be able to stand up any of the storms of the next 2 or 3 decades, don't you think?
Well, if you'd have seen it weather the first onslaughts of the storm that destroyed it, I heard that thing hit about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I came out because I was afraid my picture window was going to go.
Right.
So I came, and I lived just
that was now what,
block.
in January of
January
83?
Yeah. And I came out to see about my picture window, and I live a half a block from the pier, and I grabbed the umbrella and walked down here. And as I got down here, I heard the cracking of timbers, and then suddenly I saw several timbers
just fly up in the air.
And it was the most frightening, it was the most incredible feeling I've had since World War II.
I wanted to ask you, was it the actual wave action alone that were making those timbers buckle and fly, or was there debris in the ocean from elsewhere that was being used as a battering ram on the pier?
There may have been, Jay, but I couldn't see it
because it was still too dark.
It was too dark, and the sea was a boiling cauldron.
Now, were the waves actually breaking over the pier?
The waves at that time were breaking over the guardhouse, which was in the middle of the pier.
Okay, yes. And you would say that, how high would you say those waves were?
35 feet.
35 feet high.
Was
that high tide, or was tide still coming in?
It was high tide.
It was high tide.
And I've lived on this beach for 25 years, and I've never seen anything.
In 25 years, you had never seen waves that high.
Nothing like it. And I kind of enjoy the storms. I enjoy gray skies and what have you. There are many of us who live on the beach and lived here for a long time. Enjoy winter here because it's quiet.
It's basic and quiet.
That's right, and it has a cold steel kind of beauty about it that you don't find in the summertime.
But this was more of a frightening beauty than a serene beauty.
It was incredible because I thought I'd seen some stuff during World War II, but I had the same cold ball of yarn in my stomach when I saw those timbers break over that pier.
How long did that action wait? How long did that actually?
I don't know. The whole thing lasted probably no more than 45 seconds to maybe a minute 10, something like that. And it was gone. It was just gone, or at least there was a crack in the front section of it, and the crack in the second section of it.
So the cracks appeared, and then some of the under pilings were washed away.
Oh yeah, the under pilings by that time were over here cracking against the concrete breakwater, and then a little later in the day, as you saw, they were beginning to wash up into the parking lot. It was a frightening experience, and some of us thought at the time it may have been Mother Nature's way of saying you can't build this close to the ocean. I don't know.
Well, you think maybe Mother Nature was saying you can't build in the 1906 fashion this close to the ocean for 100 years.
I think you're right.
Because I understand that the way this pier has been constructed, they now have built it several feet higher, and they have used a different type of construction and different kinds of reinforcement concepts.
You know, men have been building piers out in oceans as long as they've had boats that required piers to land. And periodically the ocean comes up and reacts against those piers and takes them away. The Romans had to rebuild again and again. The Greeks, the Trojans all had to rebuild again and again and again. And it's just nature's way of saying, I'm in control.
Well, in the case of Seal Beach, I think it was an opportunity for all of Southern California to demonstrate the loss of this pier, how important it was, because as you know, the Seal Beach Pier became symbolic of this effort you're talking about, man's effort to go beyond where he was first intended to be, and by having the old pier demolished, the human spirit here in Southern California rallied behind the folks right here in Seal Beach and helped make this happen.
Well, the unity of spirit didn't wait until all the total damage had been done. Between the storms, the young people down here on the east side of the pier, when the wave came over, this monstrous, almost tidal-like wave came over and knocked every picture window out for 3 blocks.
That's right.
Well, we had that storm, and then that subsided, and there was a lull between that and the time the next storm came, and it was incredible the number of people who came forward to help the people who were in trouble down there.
Right, because wasn't that effort partly responsible for saving those people then before the next March storm?
And in many cases, I was down there filling sandbags, as was everybody in town. I don't know who the people were. One of the most incredible things was out of nowhere came these tree people. The tree people who plant trees.
Right.
These are people who work for nothing. The last day, they had been working the day before down in Malibu, and all of a sudden, boom, out of a clear blue sky, they were here filling sandbags. Nobody knew who they were. They just came in and said, can we help? They had their own shovels and their own bags.
Well, then that next monstrous storm was 2 months later in March of '83, wasn't it? And so those 2 months were put to good use by all this volunteer help working with local people. And they're the ones that erected the barricades along the beaches that saved the homes from that second monstrous storm in March.
Seal Beach came together, but better than Seal Beach coming together by itself, people came in from all over Southern California.
Right.
There were people whom we may derogatorily refer to as inlanders, like people who live in Westminster.
Well, I think it's more an expression of sympathy. We just feel sorry for them.
That's right.
That they're not given the opportunity to
enjoy. We feel that anybody who lives, this is the ultimate egocentric attitude, I think. Many of us who live on the beach feel that anybody who lives on the inland side of PCH is just a different breed of cat. That's all.
That's right.
But much more unfortunate than we are.
Could you expand that to north of Lamson Avenue? Because
all right.
I live in Seal Beach, and I'm south of Lamson Avenue, so I want to be part of that spirit you're talking about.
Look, honestly, Jay, those of us who live here in Old Town and have lived here for any length of time, I did most of my professional life was in Hollywood, and I commuted. And I lived here because Seal Beach was not an address for me, it was a way of life.
Well, you know, as we're sitting here talking, and I have the advantage of being able to look beyond you at all the people going by, I'm seeing people that I know that live in Rossmore, that live in Los Alamitos. I've seen a couple of dignitaries from Cypress.
This is their pier.
That's right. This pier Seal Beach is only a steward for this pier.
That's true.
This pier actually belongs to everybody, at least in Orange County and the San Gabriel Valley.
Well, it's our opportunity to say welcome, and it's also, in this instance, our opportunity to say thank you.
Well, I think